Hello and welcome to Quiz Time. I'm Jess and I'm your quiz master today for 100 general knowledge questions. So let's go. The Boss 302 is a Ford Mustang, Fluval aquarium filter or Chris Craft speedboat. A Ford Mustang. True or false? Polka dots got their name from the polka dance. It's true. How many German tanks entered the battlefield in World War I? 2,500, 50 or 4,000? $50. Who played Ruth Etting in the 1955 film Love Me or Leave Me? Debbie Reynolds, Lana Turner or Doris Day? Doris Day. Yellowstone is overdue for an eruption. Is that true or is that false? That's false. The Madison is a line dance, waltz or polka? It's a line dance. The song Summer Night came from which musical? Grease, New York, New York or Summer Stock? It came from Greece. The FIFA World Cup was founded in 1950, 1946 or 1930? 1930. Which of the Beatles was the first to become a grandfather in 1985? John Lennon, Paul McCartney or Ringo Starr? It was Ringo Starr. Which film had the quote, "If you build it, he will come"? 8 Men Out, Field of Dreams or Major League? Field of Dreams. True or false? Clark Gable was originally set to play Charlton Heston's role in the 1963 film Diamond Head. That is true. With Peyton Place, ABC hoped to replicate the success of which British TV series? Play School, Coronation Street or Parkin's Patch? Coronation Street. The creator of the Addams Family, Charles Addams, said that in Morticia there was a little of Gloria Swanson, Joan Crawford or Carolyn Jones? Gloria Swanson. In 1960, the first full-scale weather satellite was launched by the Soviet space program, the Chinese space program or NASA? NASA. True or false? Steve McQueen's first leading role was in a 1958 film called The Blob. Do you remember the film? It's true, it was his first leading role. Which were the 4 most successful pulp magazines? Argosy, Adventure, Blue Book and Short Stories, Flying Aces, Love Story Magazine, Planet Stories and Spicy Detective, or Adventure, Western Story Magazine, Dime Detective and Startling Stories. Should have just said 1, 2 or 3. But we got them in time and it was number 1, Argosy, Adventure, Blue Book and Short Stories. Racing jockey Eddie Belmonte was born in San Juan, Puerto Rico, Los Angeles, USA, or Paris, France. San Juan, Puerto Rico. The first ice cream, which was invented in the 7th century China, was made of buffalo milk, flour, and camphor. Is that true or false? Of course it's true. Twister was originally called the Twist, Fallies or Pretzel. Pretzel. The charkha is an Indian dance, spinning wheel, or harvest festival. It's spinning wheel. What is the unusual number of hoops used in Native American hoop dances? 28, 74, or 13? It's 28. Elephant is a style of which martial art? Kung Fu, no martial art, it's made up, or Muay Thai. Muay Thai. The betterfish's original scientific name meant aggressive fish with big feet. Is that true or false? It's true. A fish with big feet. The word blue appears in the title of how many of Elvis Presley's songs? 15, 28, or 7? You're going to pause it and try and count them. Blue suede shoes, blue. Oh, there's 15. Did you guess? According to John James Audubon, what was used as feed for hummingbirds at Oakley Plantation in 1821? Honey, sweetened wine, or sugar water? Sweetened wine, those lucky hummingbirds. True or false? A lemon juice can be used to enhance the colour of blonde hair. Now come on ladies, have any of you put lemon juice on your hair and gone out in the sun? It's true. Although I've got a feeling, if you're anything like me, it might have gone a little ginger. Children's book, Scruffy the Tugboat, was written by Phyllis Fraser, Gertrude Crampton, or Edith Thatcher Hurd. Gertrude Crampton. The children's book line Little Golden Books were first published in 1942, 1955 or 1938. (1942). True or false? The Oreo cookie was originally called the tuxedo cookie. Is that true or is that false? Is it a posh cookie in a tuxedo? Is it true? Oh, it's false. The cookie was always called Oreo. Okay, sometimes there are trick questions, but if you know, you know. Benjamin Franklin publicly advocated for the turkey to be the USA's national bird. That's bogus or that's true? That's bogus, of course. What is not another name for mountain climbing, mountaineering, alpinism, or mountanics? Mountanics. It's just a made-up word, not mountain climbing. Which celebrity had a black belt in karate? Doris Day, Elvis Presley, or Marlon Brando? So who would you not want to meet on a dark night with their black belt? Elvis Presley. A word that spells the same thing backwards and forwards like madam is called a malapropism, palindrome, or spoonerism. It's a palindrome. What is a loach? A fish, a close relation to the leech, or a freshwater eel? It's a fish. Polaris is located in a small semicircle of stars known as the engagement ring, Venus's circlet, or the tiara. Got some stargazers with us. It's the engagement ring. What is Marie-Anne Lenormand famous for? Creating a fortune-telling deck, being a fortune teller, or writing articles? Marie-Anne Lenormand, being a fortune teller. Not long. How long is the longest beard on record? 8.8 inches 3, 17.5, 4.10. 17.5. That's bonkers. As of 2024, which British Prime Minister has held the longest tenure? Sir Robert Walpole, Margaret Thatcher, or William Pitt the Younger? Sir Robert Walpole. How big can goldfish get? 12 inches, 14 inches, or 3 inches? 14 inches. The hottest days are during the summer solstice. Is that true or false? Now, if you're watching this live, it's around that time, June, July. Are we experiencing the hottest days? It's actually false. The planet absorbs a lot of sunlight during the solstice, but it takes several weeks to release it, which is why the hottest days usually occur in July and August. Although it's June at the moment when I'm recording this, very hot. Who was the first female voodoo leader in New Orleans? Santite Dede, Marie Salop, or Marie Laveau? Santite Dede. Waghobo is a leopard deity who is worshipped in Africa, China, or India. India. William Golding's debut novel was Lord of Flies, To the Ends of the Earth, or Rites of Passage? all famous novels, but which was his debut novel? Lord of Flies. Dogs were traditionally used to sniff out truffles. Is that true or false? It's false. Sows were traditionally used. Truffles are a fungus, a relation of cherries, or a type of walnut. Or delicious. I think they're lovely. Although I wouldn't pay the market price for them, but when you sniff them out, they are funguses. Kenneth Johnson's 1972 novel, Cyborg, was turned into which TV series? $6 Million Man, The Bionic Woman, or The Fall Guy? The Bionic Woman. Pearl Bailey sang Bill Bailey's Won't You Come Home in commercials promoting Jell-O. Is that true or is that false? It's false. She sang the song in commercials for Duncan Hines. Bill Rosenberg created a restaurant selling donuts and coffee called Open Kettle in 1948, but in 1950 he changed the name to IHOP, Dunkin' Donuts, or Krispy Kreme. Dunkin' Donuts. One Less Bell to Answer was a hit song for The Fifth Dimension, Betty Wright, or Charlie Rich. Like I said, they're all easy if you know the answer. The Fifth Dimension. What song did Frank Sinatra call one of the best love songs ever written? Something by the Beatles, I've Got You Under My Skin by Cole Porter, or The Song Is You by Frank Sinatra? Something by the Beatles. Halfway there. How are you doing? 50 out of 50 so far? In the world, male snapping turtles can weigh as much as 35 pounds, 22 pounds, or 86 pounds. 35 pounds. In 1958, President Eisenhower declared National Walnut Day a public holiday. Is it true or is it false? It's true. Who played Harold Hill in the 1962 film The Music Man? Burt Lancaster, Kirk Douglas, or Robert Preston? Robert Preston. How many sequels were made after the 1970 film Airport? 4, 3, or 7? 3. The cold water tap is on the right-hand side because it's easier for plumbers to connect the hot water to the heater from the left. Is it true or is it false? It's false. Prior to water heaters, there was only one tap and it was always put on the right, making it easy for the right-handed people to reach it. The first Rose Show was held in Britain in 1922, 1858, or 1900. 1858. The Hindenburg disaster happened in 1937, 1945, or 1922. 1937. The art of trapeze was born in Italy. Is that true or is it false? It's false. It was developed in France by gymnast Jules Léotard. Like the majority of ancient Celtic people, Druids sported long hair. Is that true or is that false? It's false. Druids kept their hair short. Who is generally viewed as the father of the modern circus? Philip Astley, P.T. Barnum, or John Bill Ricketts? Philip Astley. What did swallows represent in Victorian art? Freedom, travel and messages, reunions and remembrances, or loyalty, devotion and the return of a loved one? Loyalty, devotion and the return of a loved one. It's always great to see the swallows return. The phrase, the balloon went up, which means a situation has become critical or troublesome, originated in World War I, the American Civil War, or World War II? World War I. That's when the balloon went up. The biggest pub in Europe is Drie Goosters in the Netherlands, which consists of 3 connected houses. Fact or fiction? It's fact. Animal crackers were invented in England, the USA, or Spain? In England. George Lucas based Chewbacca on his bodyguard, a bear he saw at the zoo, or his pet dog? Who was Chewbacca based on? His pet dog. Stephen Sondheim specifically wrote Send in the Clowns for Judy Collins, Frank Sinatra, or Glynis Johns? Glynis Johns. Which superhero wouldn't survive the fast-aging disease that the Enterprise landing party underwent in the original Star Trek episode, The Deadly Years? Thor, Aquaman, or Steve Rogers? Steve Rogers. The first metabolism made the sped-up aging process even more rapid. What is vexillology? The study of anger, the study of flags, or the study of spells? The study of flags. Where is the sacred city of Carol Soup? Peru, Bolivia, or Brazil? It's Peru. Stonehenge was once put up for auction. Is that true or is that false? It's true. Britain's version of G.I. Joe is called Tommy Gun, Ace 21, or Action Man? It's Action Man, and the eyes move in the head. Which Four Seasons song hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on November the 17th, 1962? Sherry, Big Girls Don't Cry, or Walk Like a Man? Big girls don't cry. 1955, the Evening Star magazine said that the #1 hobby was collecting, touring, or gardening. Do you do any of these? Collecting was the #1 hobby. Not sure it would be now. The icebox cake first rose to popularity in the US in the 1930s, 1940s, or 1920s. 1920s. Who wrote the 1964 children's novel Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, The Magical Car? Ronald Searle, Ian Fleming, or Roald Dahl? Ian Fleming. What in onions makes people cry? The smell, a chemical, or sulfuric acids? It's the second one. The chemical makes people cry. Puerto Rico is a territory belonging to the US, its own country, or a part of the Dominican Republic. A territory belonging to the US. The manchiel tree is, from the Philippines, a popular tree for carving, or one of the most toxic trees in the world. Manchineel. What is it? It is one of the most toxic trees in the world. Chuan was an ancient Chinese game that was remarkably similar to modern golf, table tennis, or chess. Golf. A woman wearing a toga in ancient Rome generally meant that she was wealthy, an adulterer or a prostitute, or poor. An adulterer or a prostitute. Humans are the only animals with chins. Is that true or is that false? You're trying to visualize all the other animals and whether they have a chin or not. It's actually true, we are the only animals with chins. Before the 2nd century CE, what clothes did Roman women generally wear? Stola, sari, or peplos? Stola. The Bantu expansion is believed to have never happened, happened once 6,000 years ago, or occurred twice between 4,000 and 2,000 years ago. Occurred twice between 4,000 and 2,000 years ago. United States is larger than the Sahara Desert. Is that true or is that false? It's false. The animal that has killed the most people in Africa is the hippopotamus, the lion, or the alligator. The hippopotamus. Gandhi's first name was Mohandas, Mahatma, or Karamchand? Of course, it was Mahatma Gandhi, a horrific meaning vulnerable. The box step in dance is one of the most difficult steps to learn. Is that true or is it false? Depends what you mean by the box step, I'm guessing. It's false. It's actually a basic step, the box step. Waffle irons were first common in which country? Belgium, the Netherlands, or France? In France. The tic-tac-toe is generally called what in Canadian English? Tic-tac-toe, noughts and crosses, or X's and zeros? X's and zeros. In 1960, Sammy Davis Jr. got in a car accident where he lost an eye, converted to Judaism, became a member of the Rat Pack. Converted to Judaism. Pluto's average distance from the Sun is 3.7 billion miles. Is that true or is that false? It's true. The most powerful source of electromagnetic energy in the human body is in the brain. Is that fact or is it fiction? It's fiction. The heart's electrical field is 60 times greater than the brain's. Sea turtles can live as long as 30 years, 150 years, or 70 years. 150 years. Eddie Cantor's nickname was Banjo Eyes, Maxie the Taxi, or Eddie Cackler. Banjo Eyes. Long-hauled truckers typically drive how many miles per day? 800, 200, or 500? It's 500. Carrie Fisher was known in her family as the fighter, bookworm, or mediator. Mediator. It was the bookworm, who was considered to play Dorothy Gale in the 1939 film From the Wizard of Oz. Deanna Durbin, Jane Withers, or Shirley Temple? Shirley Temple. The 18th century bureau bedstead was the first fold-up bed. Is that true or is that false? It's true. True or false? In 1987, Thomas Sankara, president of Burkina Faso, was killed by a man who had been his bandmate 10 years earlier. And that's true. How sad. Okay, your last one now. What did Hergé name Tintin's dog in his comic strip? Milou, Snowy, or Scrappy? In Hergé's Tintin, what was the name of the dog? It was Milou. So, how was your general knowledge today? Did you do well? Drop your score in the comments below. And of course, like and subscribe so you get notified every time we post a new quiz. And please, join us next time on Quiz Time.